Yes, thank you very much, Darren. Welcome everyone inside Wembley Stadium, where the rain is pouring down into the bowl of Wembley tonight as the teams walk out. England in their blue tracksuit tops, led out by Jordan Henderson. With Harry Kane on the bench tonight, Jordan Henderson captains England for the first time since his, well, I think you have to call it a controversial move to Saudi Arabia. So I think that in itself is very much a statement by Gareth Southgate, you know, that Jordan Henderson is still very much part of his plans. So they lead out the mascots. Likewise, the Australian team, of course, in the green and gold. There are almost 5,000 of their fans in one corner of Wembley Stadium, and the rest of the stadium filling up quickly. I was very much watching Levi Colwell in the lineup there, making his debut tonight, his first senior cap. In this starting lineup, Sam Johnston in goal for England tonight. Alexander-Arnold, Tomori, Dunk and Colwell are the back four, so Colwell out left back. Jordan Henderson and Conor Gallagher, the two in midfield, so it is a 4-2-3-1 tonight. So Bourne on the right as he makes his England comeback, Grealish on the left-hand side, and James Maddison playing number 10, wearing number 10, behind Ollie Watkins back in the squad and back in the starting lineup. So that is the team that Gareth Southgate has selected tonight, which is very different. In fact, 10 changes from the team that played at Hampden last month, and it means that only 3 players in this team have more than 10 caps. Conor Gallagher wins his 10th cap tonight, but only Jordan Henderson, the captain, Jack Grealish and Trent Alexander-Arnold. So in terms of international experience, it is relatively inexperienced. And the Australian team just lining up. We can see the black armbands now incidentally worn by all of the players now the tracksuit tops are off. The Australian side tonight, Matty Ryan in goal. He's the most experienced player in their team, 83rd cap tonight. Then a British-based back four, Ryan Strain, Harry Souttar, Cameron Burgess and Kai Rolls. In midfield, Keanu Bacchus, Jackson Irvine and Conor Metcalfe. And then the front line of Martin Boyle, Mitch Duke and Craig Goodwin. So you've got 4 Scottish-based players in there. 2 who play in the Championship in England. Jackson Irvine and Conor Metcalfe, who play for St. Pauli, who are in the 2nd division in Germany. And up front, Mitch Duke, who plays in the 2nd division in Japan, as well as Craig Goodwin, who, like Jordan Henderson, plays in Saudi Arabia. So those are the teams, but the players are gathering around the centre circle. As I'm sure you are aware, this week the FA, after consultation with Football Australia, have decided that there will be a period of silence to remember and support the innocent victims of the devastating events in Israel and Palestine. Those are the words of the FA, and here is the announcement.
Our thoughts are with them, their families and friends in England and Australia, and with all the communities who are afflicted by this ongoing conflict. Tonight we stand for humanity and an end to the death, violence, fear and suffering. There will now be a period of silence that will start and end on the referee's whistle.
Couple of minor disturbances, but no more than that, mainly just the sound of the pouring rain. So there has been criticism tonight from Lucy Fraser, the culture secretary. She said last night, very disappointed the FA have not illuminated the Wembley arch. But the FA have said that only Australian and England colours, flags, replica kits are allowed inside the stadium tonight. So that's certainly one to watch, but there was certainly respect there. after the horrible events of the last week. So we're ready for the start of the match. Two England internationals alongside me here, Stephen Warnock and Paul Robinson, who made his debut, Paul, against Australia 20 years ago.
That's very kind of you to remind me of that, John. It was a fantastically proud achievement for me, but not a very good result for us. Let's hope it can be not the same tonight.
No, famous night that one when Sven made the 11 substitutions at half-time. As this match begins, England against Australia in 2023. The first time England and Australia have played each other in a senior men's international here at Wembley Stadium. So it is an historic occasion, Stephen Warnock.
Well, it certainly is, and it's an opportunity for Australia to showcase what they can do, the good work from the World Cup that they showed. This will be a tough night for England if they're not at the races, and expect Australia to be very competitive and very aggressive in the way they approach this game.
And also an historic occasion because the referee's whistle has been blown by Stephanie Frappart, who's a real trailblazer, as you probably know. The first woman to referee in the Champions League, in the UEFA Super Cup match, first woman to referee at the Men's World Cup finals, as she did in Qatar, and now the first woman to referee a Men's International at Wembley. So a big night for Stephanie Frappart, all in black in the centre circle, with England in possession, and the white shirts, the first choice kit with the blue shoulders, and then the dark blue shorts and white socks against Australia in the green and gold shirts with the green numbers on the back and green shorts. And England, as they like to do, are playing from left to right as we look from the dressing room side of the ground here at Wembley Stadium on what is a very, very wet night. James Maddison in possession on the halfway line, one of the players of the season so far in the Premier League. Top of the table with Tottenham Hotspur. Back it goes to Lewis Dunk. He's the only man who started at Hampden against Scotland in the previous match last month, who also starts this match. So 10 changes for England. For Australia, it's just been friendly internationals for them all the way since the World Cup at the end of last year. This their 5th friendly international of 2023. As the ball is played back by Tomori to goalkeeper Johnston, who gets a touch, and he was a little under pressure there actually from Mitch Duke, so just swipes it out of play on the far side of the field. This is his 4th cap, Sam Johnston, and Gareth Southgate dropped the occasional hint, Stephen, this week that Sam Johnston was going to play. Says that he's underestimated. He's the man who's kept more clean sheets in the Premier League than anyone else so far this season.
Well, it's the first time in a while that we've seen him reward good play in the Premier League, good performances with the performance. We were talking about James Ward-Prowse before the game and his non-inclusion within the squad, but it's good to see that Sam Johnston has got that opportunity. We were just looking at the formation as well of England.
As the ball is taken down inside the penalty area by Trent Alexander-Arnold near the penalty spot, but he's able to clear it away.
Yeah, he's playing as a centre midfielder in possession, as we see him play for Liverpool, and then he's playing as a full-back out of possession, but that's just an interesting one to keep an eye on the formation in the midfield.
Australia coming forward towards the end of the England penalty area, and it finds its way all the way over to the left-hand side to Kai Rolls. Now Craig Goodwin on the left-hand side, and his attempted cross is blocked out of play. And out for a throw-in off Jared Bowen. He's one of the form players who's come in, and he's in the team. 5 goals this season. Jared Bowen for West Ham in his 9 appearances, and it's his first appearance for England here at Wembley Stadium, so that's significant for him, I'm sure. And likewise, Tomori at the back in central defence, first time he's played for England at Wembley.
John, it's an absolute dream for Trent Alexander-Arnold to have someone like Jared Bowen in front of him. Given the ball, he'll run at people, he'll take them on, but defensively doesn't shirk his responsibility.
Rolls of Hearts takes the throw for Australia on the left-hand side. It's headed down and away by Tomori of AC Milan, then chested down, in fact handballed down by Conor Metcalf, and it's a free kick to England inside their own penalty area.
Yeah, Metcalf just playing off the striker, and it's actually Craig Goodwin playing out on the left-hand side, so you can see straight away that Metcalf's looking straight away to join Duke as often as he can in them central roles, but will drop into midfield to try and help with that sort of overload of players that England have in that midfield when Trent Alexander-Arnold steps in that position.
I mean, it's a very different England team tonight, obviously, and I have to say, I'd probably doubt whether this England team will ever start a game together. Whereas Australia, there is a consistency of selection from Graham Arnold. Just 2 changes from their match last month when they played Mexico in Texas, of all places, and they are both injury enforced. Riley McGree is one of the players who's not able to be involved tonight, the Middlesbrough man. Back it goes to Johnston, his 4th cap, yet to concede a goal, playing for England at senior international level, the Crystal Palace man. Tamori dives in and Australia play it past him. Now on the left-hand side with Jackson Irvine. But Jackson Irvine, it breaks down for him and England have got it back. And the ball is played via a deflection by Trent Alexander-Arnold out for a throw to England.
My old teammate Jackson Irvine, a long time ago back at Burton, but one of those midfielders
where it was going to be.
Yeah, one of those midfielders, incredible engine on him and an incredible ability to time runs into the box and score vital goals at vital times.
Yeah, 8 goals for Australia, but very, very well travelled. And of course this Australian team that I read out, you know, so many of them will be familiar to listeners who support the teams that they've played for in these islands, even though they represent Australia. Kai Rolls will take the throw and get it back, the number 4, the left back. Then it's curled in left-footed to the edge of the England penalty area, headed away. It's good early pressure from Australia, this. It's taken down centrally by Ryan Strain, but the ball is looped into the penalty area and Johnston can come and make a catch.
Very apparent what Australia want to do. Ball in wide areas, whether it be a fullback or a wide midfielder. One look up and try and put the ball into the penalty box and cause England problems from them deep crosses.
Here's another one of those familiar names, Matty Ryan, who's now playing in the Netherlands with AZ Alkmaar, the goalkeeper, all in lilac tonight. What a wet night it is here at Wembley. The rain absolutely tippling down into the stadium. Here's Grealish for the first time with the ball on the left-hand side. Just drops his shoulder, comes in field. Had a chat with him last night at Tottenham's training ground. He's just he's so comfortable, you know, in whatever environment he finds himself in. You know, just a very relaxed chat we had last night about the injury problems he's had this season, a dead leg that it caused him real problems, which is why he missed the games last month. Here he is on the left-hand side. Never really, Jack Grealish, had a run in the starting lineup for England since before the Euros in 2021. So whether he plays on Tuesday night probably is dependent on how he plays tonight, Stephen.
Yeah, there's just been a couple of opportunities where you're thinking, get out your feet and run at him, just really take him on, but he's just trying to find his way into the game. Jarrod Bowen gets on the ball now.
Gallagher to Bowen, and then Bowen back to Gallagher, drives it across, only half cleared. It actually struck Harry Souttar, who threw himself down on the edge of the 6-yard box, got a little deflection which took it away from anyone in a white shirt. Good play though for England. Gallagher and Bowen together, then the ball deflects into the area and is headed up and over the angle of post and bar on the corner of the box by Jarrod Bowen, stretching for it. Didn't threaten the goal.
No, but it's really good play on the right-hand side between Bowen and Gallagher. Gallagher realising that Bowen is going to draw a couple of players towards him, makes a clever run into the box. It's a beautiful ball across the edge of the box, and Souttar, he actually doesn't really do too much, but he just does enough to put off, I think it's Ollie Watkins at the back post. He's got a simple tap in. He doesn't expect it to go through the legs of Harry Souttar. It would have been a simple tap in had he read the ball.
Harry Souttar, just a couple of appearances for Leicester, top of the table Leicester so far this season. His brother John was on the bench for Scotland in Seville last night in our commentary match, and indeed was on the bench against England at Hampden last month. So double Souttar. And England with the ball in the central third of the field. 0-0, England 0, Australia 0. This is BBC Radio 5 Live, international football on a Friday night. And the ball with Levi Colwill, making his debut tonight, having really impressed for the under-21s in the tournament win in Georgia in June and July. So the ball is swept forward towards the edge of the box, and Matty Ryan comes out of the Australian penalty area and heads it down. Australia clear. Little flick header on by Jackson Irvine, but intercepted by Alexander-Arnold. Now to Bowen. Bowen lays it off nicely to Watkins. Now to Grealish. Inside the area on the left-hand side. Australia getting back in numbers, so Grealish keeps possession, then plays it across the edge of the box. Gallagher can't get there, and England have to start again from the halfway line.
That's why I just want to see him drag it down the line and take his man on 1v1 in the box. As a fullback
of him this season, hasn't it?
Yeah, but as a fullback, I don't want to get isolated in the penalty box. I don't want him to take me on. I'm worried then that I might have to dive in, or he might beat me, and there's a simple pullback. As soon as he turns back, I'm delighted. I'm over the moon.
So England 0, Australia 0 as Conor Gallagher is fouled by Craig Goodwin on the halfway line. And let's get a few thoughts from Paul Robinson on the opening almost 10 minutes, Paul.
It's taken this England team a while to settle, as you'd expect. You know, it's a new team. The understanding, the cohesion might not be there. Australia have started off particularly well, pressed high up the field, made it uncomfortable for England, but the last 2 or 3 minutes or so, they've had some decent concerted possession, and they're making their way into the Australia half.
So Paul made his debut in amongst, I think it was 7 debutants 20 years ago when England played Australia at Upton Park. Wayne Rooney made his debut that night as a 17-year-old. Last time they played in this country at Sunderland, Marcus Rashford made his debut. You might remember he scored after a little more than 2 minutes on the clock. He's on the bench tonight as Jared Bowen couldn't find the pass to Grealish, who slipped in any case, but Strain was able to step forward. And now it's with Martin Boyle on the right-hand side, but England are able to deflect it out of play for a throw to Australia inside their own half.
Graham Arnold will be delighted at the start that Australia have made. The pressure that they're applying, they're making England make mistakes as well. They are a little bit vulnerable on the break because of the being outnumbered in midfield. As soon as they get the turnover of their ball, England, there are options in behind. It's about finding that final pass and making sure that they complete that. But Australia here on the break themselves.
Australia through the middle. Ball played out to the left-hand side. And Craig Goodwin, left-footed ball across the England penalty area, headed down and away by Tomori. Fikayo Tomori winning what is his 4th cap here tonight. And now Australia are curling up and deflected. Oh, good save. Good save by Johnston, diving to his left. It was Bacchus, the midfielder. Right foot curling shot. The St Mirren man took a little deflection as well, but leaping to his left, Sam Johnston, Paul Robinson turned that away.
That was a fantastic save. Bacchus just cuts inside from that left-hand side onto his right foot, curls it across Johnson, who's got it comfortably in his grasp, but Tomori does his best. He tries to put the block on it, and he actually heads it into the bottom left-hand corner. Johnson makes a great step to his left and fantastically turns it around the post.
Right-sided corner, first of the match for Australia. It's an outswinger towards the penalty spot. It bounces down and is sort of half-headed goalwards, but blocked, and then a spectacular effort, sort of a bicycle kick, roundabout sort of waist, stomach height, which was bounced down into the ground, and actually that was an easy take from the shot from Martin Boyle.
So give him so much confidence, that Sam Johnson, John, it really will. He's starting this game, not started for a long time, but it was such a good save. It was a difficult save from a goalkeeper's point of view because he's going after the first shot, and when his centre-half puts his head on it, it diverts it another yard wider than him, so he has to get an extra step in, which makes that save even better.
Do you think it's a shot? I think it's an actual cross, isn't it, to the two
Cross
strikers?
shot, isn't it?
Yeah, but it makes it an even better save that he anticipates the touch of Tomori or a striker and is able to push it round the post.
Well, as the goalkeeper, you've gone after the first ball, you're looking, you're thinking, I've got to stop that creeping into the far post, but with Tomori's touch, it's then turned it into a direct strike. It was a really, really good save.
And that last effort, it was actually the left-back Rolls with the shot, but it was at an awkward height, and that was straight at Sam Johnston, who will feel a lot better about things after that. As England come forward, here is Watkins, England's number 9 tonight. Harry Kane is number 20 on the bench. Watkins in the right back area, takes it to the byline, then turns, gives it back to Henderson, and the England captain this evening back to Dunk. Dunk playing as the left-sided central defender and Tomori as the right, incidentally. I think it makes a very interesting question with Mark Gay not starting the match tonight, having done so well in the 2 matches last month, what the central defensive pairing will be against Italy on Tuesday night. Maguire, Stones, or would Gay force his way into it. Bowen on the right hand side. Bowen and Gallagher again together. Gallagher's cross, that's blocked. Australia should clear, they do clear. Up towards Tamori, who I think committed a foul there. He did. It's a free kick to Australia.
I'm just going back to your point, John. I just wonder whether it's a situation with how is John Stones, how is he feeling, how's he playing at the moment, and what's his fitness levels quite at? Are they trying to protect him a little bit and just have him in and around the squad? And they might just play Gehi and Maguire in that game.
What do you think, Paul?
It's a difficult one. We know that the manager always goes back to Harry Maguire. We know the respect and the understanding that the two have got, and he seems to be his go-to man regardless of whether he's playing in the Premier League or not. Likewise, the centre-half partnership will be as interesting as the defensive midfield partnership. There's 4 positions there on the pitch, which on Tuesday I suspect the manager he's kind of decided, but tonight might sway him that way. But I think Gehi will play. I think he's played excellently when he has done, and I think the manager likes him, and I just think John Stones' lack of recent game time may affect his selection.
If England win here on Tuesday night against Italy, then qualification will be confirmed for Euro 2024. Tamori just taking the ball down and playing it back to goalkeeper Johnston. Italy play tomorrow night, by the way, in a qualifier against Malta, who are bottom of the group without a point. England coming forward through the middle, but an overhead pass from centre field from Alexander-Arnold in that central position again, Stephen.
Yeah, but it's a lovely run from Watkins, and that was just saying before, if you've got players in the team who can pick a pass, as Australia come on the break.
They do, down the left-hand side with Goodwin, who's got a little bit of space, but not for long, because Alexander-Arnold comes across before he can whip it in left-footed. Alexander-Arnold puts a foot in and blocks it behind for a corner.
Yeah, he's doing really well at that Goodwin. He's realising that Trent Alexander-Arnold is going into that midfield position, so he's almost cheating ever so slightly, just holding his width on that left-hand side. Australia players know then, every time that they win the ball back and there's a turnover, that they can hit that ball into that left-hand channel for Goodwin to get on the end of.
And it's Goodwin who's going to take it, who plays for Al Wahda in Saudi Arabia. Played at the World Cup for Australia. Most of these players were involved in the run to the last 16 when they narrowly lost to the eventual winners, Argentina. Goodwin with the deep corner this to the back post, but the referee spotted an infringement. There's an England player down, presumably has been fouled. Not sure who it is inside the 6-yard box.
I think it's Jordan Henderson,
isn't it? Yeah. Who's holding his face. He's lying on his right side, and it's just a collision inside the, sort of ran into one another, didn't they? Kai rolls, but I think Henderson's alright.
Yeah, he should be fine. I don't think there was much in it at all. I think he's just bought that free kick. If anything, Jordan Henderson, slightest bit of contact, hit the deck and gives the referee a question that she has to answer and gives England the free kick.
Yeah, so Italy here on Tuesday night, but interesting news about Sandro Tonali and Nicola Zanolio, who have left the Italian squad following an investigation by prosecutors from Turin, which has obviously gained quite a lot of interest here with 2 English-based players, so they won't be involved. Here's Bowen down the right-hand side. Bowen playing it back though to Alexander-Arnold, who's behind him. Alexander-Arnold, who did very well in the 2 matches in June, playing as in a central midfield role, which does make me wonder whether that might be an option for England on Tuesday night as well. But he is, for the most part, a right back today. It's 0-0. England 0, Australia 0. 5 Live here at Wembley, where I think the rain has just about eased for the time being. Alexander-Arnold up to Watkins. Watkins tries to lay it off. It's won back centrally by Maddison, but it runs away from him, and goalkeeper Ryan can clear.
You'll be very happy that the rain's gone off, because you forgot your coat, haven't you, John?
Well, a man in the lift said to me tonight, I said, what do you think the weather's going to be? And he said, it's going to rain till 9 o'clock, then it's going to stop. You'll be all right after that.
Oh, okay.
So I said, well, thanks very much. Here's Grealish on the left-hand side. Now Maddison in the full-back area. Maddison takes on the defender, but it bounces out to Grealish. Grealish now drifting in field, but Australia have got 2 men on him whenever Grealish gets the ball in these early stages. Almost 20 minutes played. Back to Lewis Dunk, who I think, don't know about you, I think he very much deserves his place after the way that he played at Hampden. Lewis Dunk, ball into the penalty area now for Maddison. It might bounce through for Grealish, but there's just too much green and gold in there. And Australia, well organised, they're not going to let England have any space in there if they can help it.
No, absolutely not, and that's what I was saying before the game is that they're an organised team, they're a very well-drilled team, and they try and they've done it again, they turn over the ball so often because of the press that they have.
Colwell gave it away on the halfway line there, but Australia couldn't take advantage, and the ball was swept out of play for a throw-in, misplaced pass, and England had a throw-in inside their own half.
John, they just give you that feeling, Australia, that you have to force the ball because of how tight they are, how organised they are. That's what they want you to do. They want you to try and thread eye of a needle ball, and it's so difficult, and they're set up for that.
So here is Dunk at the back, the rugged Lewis Dunk of Brighton and Hove Albion. I think very much putting himself in a position where he could be in the squad for Germany. As Conor Gallagher is caught, challenge came in, it actually bounced away from Gallagher, and Conor Metcalfe actually slid in and committed the foul, and I think Metcalfe has come off worst here, even though it's an England free kick.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good challenge as well. I thought Conor Gallagher was probably a little bit late to it, and it is the other way. It's actually Cameron Burgess who gets his ankle stamped on, and it should be a foul the other way. I don't know how England have managed to get that free kick. It's the wrong decision.
It is actually, it's Burgess, isn't it, the Ipswich Town man, and you're right, we know because we've seen the replay, it's actually Conor Gallagher who stepped on his ankle.
Yeah.
The free kick's gone England's way. So a little fortunate there. 0-0, England 0, Australia 0. Massive weekend of sport. Again, all 4 Rugby Union World Cup quarter-finals. 5 Live is the place to hear them. 2 tomorrow, starting with Wales-Argentina at 4 o'clock, and 2 on Sunday, including England against Fiji. But also, early in the morning tomorrow, India against Pakistan at the Cricket World Cup. That huge stadium in Ahmedabad. So 9:30 start for India, Pakistan. Every match at the Cricket World Cup you can hear on BBC Radio. But this Friday night international football, match of relatively few chances so far. In fact, Australia have probably come closest with that Bacchus shot, the deflected shot that was saved by Johnston, whereas England's best moment was probably the Gallagher and Bourne move, wasn't it, down the right hand side. Here's one over the top for Bourne to chase, but Ryan comes out to the edge of his penalty area and clutches the bouncing ball.
He's done that well a couple of times now, Matty Ryan, making sure that his position's high, understanding that England players will look to play that ball over the top into Ollie Watkins, but they've turned the ball over again. They're attacking again, Australia.
Watkins claiming that he was fouled by Goodwin, but no free kick, and now Australia with it on the right hand side. Boyle, ball across the box. Oh, what a shot that is, right footed, and it flashes just wide of the top right corner. What an opportunity that was, I must say. I thought from Mitch Duke that was going to make the net ripple.
Oh, if he'd scored it, he'd have subbed himself. This was unbelievably unlucky from Mitch Duke. He just wraps his foot around it as it comes in from the right-hand side. The connection is outstanding. It must skim the outside of the post towards the top corner. Sam Johnson's at full stretch. He'd have got nowhere near it. Such was the quality of the strike. But John, that is exactly the danger that Australia possess.
It is, and England are fortunate that it's still 0-0. Grealish has been fouled over on the far side, but he's back on his feet quickly. He's okay. And Tamori with the ball on the edge of the penalty area, back to Johnston, who wasn't getting close to that, diving up to his left, but if that had been just inside the top corner, that would have been 1-0 Australia. Just keeping an eye on the other matches tonight, because teams can qualify tonight from the other groups. But here's Alexander Arnold on the right hand side. Alexander Arnold just touches it away from Rolls, and then a crossfield pass to Grealish, who unusually, actually his touch just let him down and the ball ran away from him. Comes back centrally to Henderson, then back towards the centre circle, just forward of the centre circle. Conor Gallagher now onto the ball, and back it goes into the centre circle to Tamori. It is Austria 0, Belgium 1, and if Belgium win tonight, they will qualify. And France are winning 1-0 away against the Netherlands. Kylian Mbappe has scored that goal, and similarly France will qualify tonight if they win. So Netherlands 0, France 1. Portugal also winning 1-0 against Slovakia. Gonzalo Ramos with the goal there, and also they're another team, Portugal. If they win tonight, they will be through to next summer's finals. Australia defending, but in possession, and Harry Souttar, right-footed, clears it away towards the halfway line, where Henderson nods it to Colwell, and then Henderson again infield, but Gallagher goes all the way back into central defence to Lewis Dunn. So still 0-0 with the first quarter of the match played, and England really yet to properly test Ryan. Ball played forward down the left-hand side, and now well, he's got it all wrong there, Maddison. And the offside flag in any case, as you anticipated, Stephen, would come. And I think, as we say, that has spared the blushes of James Maddison after an awful shot.
Well, I don't know whether it has. It was so bad it went out for a throw-in. Yes, he tries to strike the ball. It just bobbles, as you do very well on Wembley to find a bobble. But James Maddison has just found it. As it sits up, he strikes across the ball, and it's horrible.
Paul Robinson,
as the TV cameras pan over to his manager Ange Postecoglou there sat in the stand watching him in that number 10 role. Yes, listen, it's not one thing that I enjoy talking about, bubbles, especially not playing for England, but James Maddison did certainly pick up one then.
Yeah, let's draw a veil over that. I cannot believe that the surface looks absolutely perfect here at Wembley. Ball into the penalty area for England. Oh, took a chance there, Souttar playing it back to Ryan with Watkins not far away, but Ryan was aware of what was coming from Souttar and got rid on his right foot, sharpish.
Yeah, he wanted him to come for it a little bit earlier and then just give him a hospital pass, and it wasn't the greatest of balls. Matty Ryan did well to deal with it, just got it away as quick as he could. England need to move the ball quicker, John. They've got to shift this Australia team out of position, or you've got to get individuals on the ball, i.e. a Jack Grealish, Maddison, or a Jarrod Bowen, and then drive at the heart of Australia's team and draw players out of position, as Jack Grealish starts to do.
Grealish playing it through, but Watkins was clearly offside there by 2 or 3 yards. Thing is, though, with this Australia team, this packed central midfield, Maddison tonight getting the chance to play as a number 10, and there's no space in there.
No, by playing Trent Alexander-Arnold in there, you're asking then Conor Gallagher to play higher up the pitch, and James Maddison is almost being stuck to the left of the forward three. Jack Grealish is playing a little bit deeper, and Conor Gallagher is actually suffocating the space of James Maddison where he wants to go on the pitch.
England 0, Australia 0. This is BBC Radio 5 Live. A flick sends the ball all the way through from Boyle to Tomori. And he plays it to his right to Alexander-Arnold, who was in the right back position, but then moves forward again centrally. So Tomori uses Jarrod Bowen on the halfway line, and his touch was very heavy there, and Australia have got it back. Now here's Rolls, receives it from Goodwin, and then the run from Jackson Irvine down into the full-back position, but that's blocked out of play for a throw-in. Yes, the well-travelled Jackson Irvine, as well as when you were with them at Burton, also Celtic, Kilmarnock, Ross County, Hull City, Hibernian, and now top of the second division, Bundesliga 2, with St. Pauli. Rolls with the throw for Australia. Tomori heads it out of play. It's another Australian corner.
You could practice your German with him after the game, John.
I could do. Yes, that goes back to when we were in Munich together, doesn't it?
Fantastic.
Well, I know Steve Crossman, our colleague Steve Crossman, who will be presenting from France tomorrow, does love a Bundesliga 2. England 0, Australia 0, and this corner from the left. So packed penalty area between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box. The delivery is deep to the back post, but it's headed away to the edge of the box, steered back out to the left-hand side, where it is driven in right-footed and deflected across the 6-yard box. It just needs to finish, and it's prodded over the top of the bar. It bounced down, 8 yards out, and it was a reaction effort. I think it was Rolls, wasn't it? Yes, it was.
That's 2 he's had now from corners, 2 opportunities. They're such a big team, Australia, but what they do really well is that they don't just try and pump it in on the second ball. They recycle it, they put it out to a wide position. Souttar's causing problems, Burgess is causing problems, and it's 3 corners that they've had now, and they've had opportunities from them.
They have, and they've created more problems for England than England have for Australia. But Maddison plays it through to Watkins. Ryan comes out, and Watkins shoots against the post from the angle. and then Australia clear it, and they are suggesting, where is the offside flag, which hasn't come. But it wasn't, you say, Stephen, but Australia coming forward. So if that had ended up in the back of the net from Ollie Watkins, it would have counted.
Well, we were bang in line with it. It was right on our eye line, and Ollie Watkins, he timed the run to perfection as he ran in behind. It would have been close, it would have been very tight, but it looked good from where we were. He did so well. Credit to Matty Ryan though, again playing that high line. He didn't dive in on Watkins, he pushed him as wide as he could. Would the defender have got there, Kai Rolls, to get it just off the line? He almost collided with the post as he tried to clear it, but great attacking play by England.
Paul Robinson in a moment, but here's Grealish on the left hand side. So that's England's best moment, or at least the closest they've come to an opening goal, and it was Maddison who found the pass through to Ollie Watkins. It was a tight one, but no flag. But as Ryan came out, actually did quite well, Paul, Matty Ryan, the way that he came out to an angle and forced Watkins a little wider, and then he shot against the post.
Stephen touched on it earlier, his depth perception has been excellent, the reading of the through ball. One of the hardest things for a goalkeeper to do is read the straight ball through. Australia were playing a high line against the pace of Watkins, and that was the first time tonight it's really been breached. Maddison found space in midfield, looked up and Watkins was away. Maddison timed the pass to perfection, but Ryan really did get his distance and his angle right and forced Watkins out wide.
Ollie Watkins there, so close to what would have been his third goal for England. He hasn't played for England since the March of last year, the friendly here against Ivory Coast, which was one of the sort of build-up games to the World Cup for England. He started that match and he scored in that match, but this is the first time he's played for England since. Obviously he wasn't in the World Cup squad. Australia bringing the ball out from the back. That is nicely worked. And now centrally it is Bacchus who plays it forward, a run down into the full-back position by Boyle. The referee has indicated it's a throw into Australia on the left-hand side, level with the edge of the box that Goodwin is going to take. He's got Rolls behind him. In fact, he's going to leave it to Rolls to take the throw. He wants to go for one of these long throws that we've seen from him. He's stealing probably about 10 yards to take it near the corner flag. Rolls throw into the near post is flicked on, then headed forward into the edge of the 6-yard box by Goodwin, but an easy take for Johnston.
Yeah, a bit of a wasted opportunity for Australia there. Set it up, make sure that it's properly organised when you are taking advantage of a long throw. We're just seeing that replay on the screens in front of us from England's attack. Watkins looks like he was onside. It was perfectly timed, the run, and the ball from James Maddison. I think do you know what? I actually think he tips it onto the post here, Rolls, as he gets towards the ball. Just the slightest of touches, maybe, as it hits the post.
Well defended by Rolls. You know, the shot was sort of rolled goalwards by Watkins from the left side of the area. So it gave Rolls a chance to get back in there and chase it to the line. And as Stephen Warnock says, maybe a little touch onto the post and then away. It's a good spot of yours to say that he was onside, because there wasn't much in that.
Got my glasses on, John.
You have.
Confident when I've got these on.
Yes, your two runnies. England 0, Australia 0, and Australia playing it out from the back with Bacchus. And now Rolls has given it away, passed it straight to Alexander Arnold. Less than 15 minutes of the first half to go, still 0-0. England with that one clear chance really, and Australia will feel that they probably should be ahead.
Yeah, they should be. I have to say, Australia are a better team when they're reacting to things, when they press and then they can sort of counter-attack. When they're asked to play out from the back and they're asked to try and break England down, they find it really difficult. That's not their strength at all, so they're enjoying actually soaking up this pressure, and it suits them the way they're set up.
Australia playing it back to Ryan, who rather unconvincingly clears, so Gallagher heads it forward for England, the Chelsea man, and then a foul committed by Colwell. So a free kick, and there's a little bit of pushing and shoving in there. Bacchus and Colwell bounce bodies together, and referee Frappart, you can hear the whistle being blown repeatedly, and she's going to speak to Colwell and Bacchus. I don't think he needs to get involved in that sort of thing on his England debut.
Well, I don't think I'd be squaring up to Colwell either. He's a big lad, isn't he? But to be fair to Bacchus, he's not a Small-shouldered himself, he's quite a big lad. I'm not so sure there's any need for 2 yellow cards within that situation. It's 2 players who are just intent on going for the ball, trying a little bit of emotion within the situation. Absolutely no need for that.
Republic of Ireland are 1-0 down in Dublin against Greece. Been a miserable qualifying campaign really for Republic of Ireland, who could be out tonight if they lose. So Republic of Ireland 0, Greece 1. France still 1-0 up in Netherlands, and Portugal now 2-0 up on Slovakia. Cristiano Ronaldo has scored his 786th goal for Portugal. Here coming forward, and that is Conor Gallagher, who's taken down Craig Goodwin, and that's a yellow card immediately for Conor Gallagher for that.
Oh, that looked nasty. When you see it again, just his standing leg, and he steps on the back of it. It's a poor challenge from Conor Gallagher. When you think of the way Goodwin stepped away from him, he just stands on his ankle, and his ankle rocks. It's a horrible one to see. It's a poor challenge from Gallagher.
Let's bring in Paul Robinson again.
Frustrating, I think, from Gallagher there, wasn't it? Lunged with 2 feet with no real need to. I mean, that's 3 decisions you've called there, Stephen. I think, this call for ex-players on VAR, you've called an offside there with the naked eye.
Well,
the 2 bookings.
I don't know the rules though.
And your old team Liverpool could have done with you a few weeks on VAR, that is for sure.
Well, you were there, weren't you?
I was.
Yeah, you were at that match. When I was at the Ryder Cup, you were at that match, so you were right there in the thick of it. The famous game, Tottenham-Liverpool. Free kick then, Goodwin plays it in, he's okay, and then the header from the angle, but that's straight at Johnston. And I've got a feeling that was Rolls again, wasn't it? He was in there again, that's his 3rd opportunity, the left back.
I think he's got a magnet in that headband that he's got on, because every time the ball comes in, he's the one that it gravitates to. It keeps on going towards him, gets a good header on it, but just can't quite get the direction he wants.
They're really causing England some problems from the set plays. It's something that they clearly worked on. We saw that through the World Cup. We know that the Australian team isn't going to be as strong as other teams that they play against, and they have to find a way to disrupt so-called better teams. And with longer throws and balls into the box, that's what they do.
Now Jordan Henderson's been fouled round about the halfway line, and there's a little bit of that wasn't a great challenge either by Conor Metcalf, but Henderson's okay. England, Australia, so there's a bit of edge in it, but it's England, Australia.
Yeah, you fully expect that. You're expecting Australia to come here and lie down and have the bellies tickled. You're expecting to come here and be aggressive in the way that they're going to play, and that's exactly what we're seeing from them so far.
Half-time approaching, less than 10 minutes of the first half to go. England 0, Australia 0. I mean, it was a sellout, that was what the FA said tonight. I can still see quite a lot of empty red seats. It certainly wasn't full at the start of the match, but it was 7:45 kick-off in London on a Friday night. But I would say it would be around about 80,000, maybe 70-odd thousand, something like that. A great turnout in the corner, the green and gold. They love their sport, don't they, Australia? And they've obviously been involved here at Wembley in other sporting contests as Australia come forward, and it is Boyle on the right-hand side for a wasted shot there. He went for it. He had options inside the penalty area, but he went for glory, and he sliced it well wide of the near post.
Well, considering we've got so many bodies in midfield, we're getting overrun every single time, and when they win the ball back, Australia, a simple switch of play is enabling them to get out on the opposite side, and we're finding ourselves outnumbered. A lot of questions being asked tonight of Gareth and his tactics. Let's see what he can do and how he can counteract that, because again, they lose the ball, England, and Australia come forward.
Grealish has given it away to Conor Metcalf, but Australia go back into their own half. Well, obviously there are any number of options for England on the bench. Most of what you would call the first choice players, whether it's Kane, whether it's Bellingham, Declan Rice, they're all there on the bench. Phil Foden. I suspect we will see Eddie Nketiah. I feel, having been involved in the squad for a second time this month and having not yet got onto the field, but Alexander-Arnold will have to deal with this. Actually, it's bounced to Craig Goodwin for Australia, and then the ball played infield, arriving. It's Rolls again. Rolls with a low cross into the area. It hits Alexander-Arnold, bounces down, and Gallagher will play it back for Bowen to clear up towards Watkins, but he's still almost halfway inside his own half when he came to challenge for that. And now Bowen with a little bit of space on the right hand side. Gallagher's there as well. outside him. Gallagher now infield towards Maddison. Might open up for him. Maddison takes a touch, gives it to Watkins on the edge of the penalty area. The challenge from Strain on him, then Henderson forward again to James Maddison, who goes back, and now Australia are back in position again, and it's all very congested through the middle.
They're brilliant at that, Australia. The recovery runs are quite brilliant. They know that they're in trouble. They know that they're getting outnumbered in a certain position. They flood numbers back to recover into position, and if they can just delay for a couple of seconds, it allows the recovery runs to get back into position, and that's what they've done. England need to continue to move that ball quicker and to try and take people on in 1v1 situations.
This is the first of two matches this month for Australia here in London. So they're actually going to play New Zealand at Brentford on Tuesday night. I don't know if tickets are still available for that. If you're around, you might fancy that. But this is all part of the preparation. They start their World Cup qualifiers next month, when incidentally one of their matches is due to be Palestine away. So who knows what's going to happen with that. Very difficult to see that going ahead. But then the Asian Cup matches in January, and then more World Cup qualifiers. They're in the Asian Federation, remember, Australia. Here's Grealish on the left-hand side. Maddison, Grealish, I think, was fouled after the ball went, and referee just waited to see if there was any advantage there, and actually out comes another yellow card for that must be Strain, who put in the challenge on Jack Grealish. Again, late, another yellow card.
He just dives in a little bit Strain, tries to be aggressive with Grealish. Grealish just flicks the ball inside, almost clotheslined him, then gets his arms round Grealish, makes sure that he doesn't get away. It was a yellow card, that one. She gets that one right. Yeah. Stephanie Frappart.
And it's the English-born Ryan Strain, Coventry-born St Mirren man, who was sent off against Rangers last weekend. Free kick. England play it in, takes a glance off Souta's head, and that runs right across into the full-back position where Rolls will play it up towards Goodwin, who turns Alexander-Arnold. They absolutely loved that, the Australian fans in the corner. Now Australia move it forward towards Duke, who's out here on the left-hand side. Then infield towards Bacchus, out to Strain on the far side. He actually started off at the Aston Villa Academy, just like Jack Grealish. Back into the centre circle for Australia. And then Rolls. Goodwin again with his heels on the white line. Bowen comes back. It's still 0-0 if you've just switched onto us on 5 Live on this Friday night. As Australia, who've had the better of it. They've looked more like a team than England, in all honesty.
Absolutely. They look so organised. They believe the game plan and what they're trying to achieve, and it's working for them so far. They're frustrating England. Like you say, John, they've also had the better opportunities.
Yes. Ollie Watkins shot against a post, notwithstanding. Alexander-Arnold comes and gets the ball off Lewis Dunk, and then a short pass through the middle to his former clubmate Jordan Henderson. Now here's Fikayo Tomori. Just rolls his foot over the ball and then passes it back into centre field. Tomori was one of the players who didn't play last month as well, like Eddie Nketiah. So from that point of view, probably no surprise that he was in the starting lineup tonight. And after all, that's something else that Gareth Southgate has looked at tonight, to see Tomori and Dunk together. Paul Robinson.
Yeah, the changes, I mean, it's all been a little bit predictable for England in possession. It's been very slow. The understanding amongst the side, they look like a team of players who haven't played together before. They've had one great chance through Watkins, but the possession's been slow. Everything's been in front of Australia, and they haven't really caused them many problems. Yes, they've had the majority of the possession. They've had all the ball in front of Australia, but when Australia have the ball, they play with intent, they play forward, and they try and cause England problems. It's been a little bit too methodical.
Bowen and Maddison, back to Bowen, and Bowen wins what is England's first corner after the defender came across and deflected it out. I see that Rolls has got a black headband on now, and England with this corner from the right-hand side that Maddison is waiting to take. Grealish has come all the way across here, and he's saying that Goodwin's not 10 yards away from the corner taker. Maddison actually plays it back to Alexander-Arnold. First time ball into the area. Bowen with it. A glancing, a falling header. He was trying to deflect it inside the far post, but got too much on it, and Ryan was able to come across and catch the bouncing ball.
Yeah, nice to see that there is a little bit of thought process going into the free kick or the corner, the set piece, making sure that they try and shift the Australians out of position. We know how big they are. They've been dangerous from their own set pieces. I think Jared Bowen's just trying to help that header on, to put it into an area to help it, let a teammate then attack the ball. But good play from England.
England 0, Australia 0. And Ryan just picking the ball up inside his penalty area and underarming it out to Burgess. Goodwin now, half inside his own half, rolls, plays it infield to Bacchus, who shrugs off Madison. Then a right-footed ball through the middle, across comes Colwell. Oh, good work though by Duke, then across, and the chance here is blocked on the edge of the 6-yard box, with Dunk and Johnston both sliding in there. The final touch after the shot from Duke, I think, came off Dunk, which deflected it up and over the top of the crossbar. But again, Australia so close to taking the lead.
John, it's actually Ryan Strain who has the shot, the right back, who finds himself in the centre forward position. Lovely play from Bacchus, who's been the outstanding player for Australia in the first half. Turns the midfielder, puts a lovely ball over the top, and then unselfish work by Duke sets him up. But credit to Lewis Dunk, he doesn't give it up. It beats Sam Johnston, but Lewis Dunk sliding in on the line diverts the ball over the bar. Brilliant from Lewis Dunk.
Yeah, brilliant from Dunk, but England fortunate again not to be behind. So another Australian corner. This is their 4th of the first half. Ready for the delivery now from over on the far side. Left-footed delivery. This is high towards the back post, and it's headed down and into the ground and up, landing on the roof of the net. So we're into 1 minute of added time, and it was big Harry Souttar who was the man who got his head to that but couldn't deflect it on target. Paul Robinson
should score, Strange, shouldn't he? I mean, he finds himself high up the field, right back there. If that's a striker in that position, I think he puts it into the corner. I mean, it was a decent block by Duncan Johnson between them, but I think the opportunity that he had, he should do better in that situation. But once again, it shows England's defensive susceptibility. Once they turn over possession, they lose possession, and they are susceptible at the back.
As Watkins is fouled by Souttar. Referee's just going to see if an advantage develops. Grealish turns, gives it back to Watkins, who's into the area now towards the byline, and then the recovering challenge comes in, which deflects it behind. And Souttar, well, he did well there, big Harry Souttar, to dive in and challenge Watkins and send it behind for a corner.
Once he gets his legs going, Souttar, he can move, he can motor, and he had to there to get back into position. It was his initial foul on Ollie Watkins. Watkins recovered, but so did Souttar, to make sure, and the rising Australians in that far corner appreciated everything about that recovery.
What a tackle that is, what a tackle. He had no margin for error there whatsoever.
The corner is taken short, and the referee blows the whistle as Madison and Grealish are playing nice little patterns into the penalty area, and both Madison and Grealish are just asking the French referee, was it absolutely necessary to blow the whistle right at that moment?
I think the Australians will be delighted, but the English will be absolutely furious that they weren't allowed to do it. However, late on in the game, put the ball in the box, then ask the question.
Well, Australia have done well. 0-0.
Australia have done excellently well. We talked pre-game as to what they would offer and what type of opposition there would be for England, and they've showed that. Listen, it's been disappointing from an England point of view. I think you can obviously tell by the commentary. It's been a slow, methodical performance. England have had the majority of the possession, over 70% of possession. But if we're sat here now talking about Australia going in at half-time, 1 or 2 up, you wouldn't be surprised. They've sat deep. They've made it very difficult for England. James Maddison has struggled to get in the game. Jack Grealish has struggled to get in the game. Trent Alexander-Arnold, because the midfield is so packed. The Australians have been great at the recovery runs, at stopping England, and it's just been, they've frustrated England when England have had possession.
It's incredible that I spoke about it in commentary, saying that we're crowding the midfield, but it's been our most vulnerable area. I mean, Bacchus and Jackson Irvine will have been saying before this game, this is going to be so difficult because of the quality that England possess in those midfield areas. We're going to have to be at our brilliant best today. I don't even think they've been at their best. I think they've just found it very easy to break on England and counter-attack.
Yeah, Watkins with a shot against the post, which was perhaps just deflected deflected onto the post. That was England's big chance, but Australia, a whole list of chances, most notably Bacchus's deflected shot that was saved by Johnston, and then the shot by Strain that was deflected over the bar by a sliding Lewis Dunk. So England 0, Australia 0 at half-time here at Wembley. Well, I think you might be hiding your light under a bushel there, Darren. Anyway, the teams are making their way out, and it looks as though neither team are going to make any changes. Of course, it was at this time, Paul, in that match 20 years ago when Sven-Göran Eriksson made all of the changes, changed the whole team at half-time, and you made your debut.
It certainly was, yeah. Like you say, a very proud moment making my England debut. But looking back in hindsight with the reflection that the game's got on it because of the 11 substitutions at half-time, I think it caused football's governing bodies to change a few rules at the times as well, didn't it?
Well, it did, absolutely. 11 substitutions at half-time, and shortly after that, FIFA and UEFA said maximum of 6 changes in a friendly, and that's how it is to this day. So an infamous night at Upton Park, the only full England international that was ever played at West Ham's old ground 20 years ago. Well, the second half begins here. England 0, Australia 0. If you've just joined us, if you've been busy on your Friday and you've just got back into your car or whatever it happens to be, Australia had much the better of things in the first half. A consistency of selection from Graham Arnold, just a couple of changes from their last match last month. They're getting ready for World Cup qualifiers. But England, with the big game against Italy here on Tuesday night, Gareth Southgate making 10 changes, and it's been a disjointed display from England. This England team is Johnston in goal, who's made one very good save so far. Alexander-Arnold, Tomori, Dunk and Colwell, the back four, so debut for Colwell. Henderson and Gallagher. Henderson is the captain. Bowen on the right, Grealish on the left. James Maddison behind Ollie Watkins. And Australia in the gold shirts, green shorts and gold socks, clearing the ball to the halfway line. They have Matty Ryan in goal, Ryan Strain, Harry Souttar, Cameron Burgess and Kai Rolls at the back, Bacchus, Irvine and Metcalf in midfield, Boyle, Duke and Goodwin up front. And the chance that they had late in the half for the right back, the English-born right back, Ryan Strain, Stephen Warnock, when we saw it again at half-time, really what an opportunity that was that he just didn't take.
Well, it just fell to the wrong person for Australia, but the right person for England's point of view. Should have almost just put his laces through it. He's too kind to it, tries to pass it into the back of the goal. In all fairness to him, he does actually beat Sam Johnston in the goal, but an incredible recovery challenge from Lewis Dunk prevents the goal.
England coming forward, playing from right to left in the second half here at Wembley Stadium, as they like to do. Grealish and Maddison, that breaks down, but it's won back, and Colwell is taking the ball forward and plays it through the middle, but that just runs all the way through to Ryan. It was between the run of Grealish and Watkins through the middle, but overhit from Colwell all the way through to the goalkeeper.
That sort of summed up England's night so far. Lack of quality in the final third, the lack of ideas that England have managed to muster in this game against Australia, who have frustrated them for large parts of the game.
So it is still 0-0 in Australia's first match here. Only 2 teams have come and beaten England at Wembley in their first match at this stadium. A pass from centre field from Burgess. Now it's played in from the right-hand side from Metcalf, and then worked into the area. Goodwin just got away from him. A little touch there, importantly from Gallagher, to take it away. Goodwin again on the left-hand side, looks to get it back, which he does, down into the full-back position. Alexander-Arnold comes across, but Goodwin's beaten him, got the ball into the near post, but Tomori came across to clear it out for a throw on the far side. Goodwin causing problems again.
He's just an energiser, isn't he? One of them energiser bunnies who just, you know that you've got a challenge against all night, because he's not going to stop running. Relentless running from Goodwin, but he's also got quality as well. When he does get in that final third, he attacks fullbacks, he takes them on. Trent Alexander-Arnold's finding him difficult to play against.
Yeah. He's been scoring goals in Saudi Arabia for Al Wehda. 4 goals in 7 appearances. I bet he's absolutely loving the Wembley rain, although it is dry at the moment. Throwing on the left-hand side, Grealish deflected back into his own box, and then Dunk clears it, shot from the edge of the area straight at Johnson, but the whistle had already gone for the foul, I think, on Grealish. So it's a free kick to England. England 0, Australia 0, as England start to pass the ball out from the back. Still a lot of empty seats dotted around. I mean, it's a big crowd, don't get me wrong. I think it will be 70-odd thousand when the attendance finally comes. But from an England point of view, this could be a lot better. Gallagher down in the full-back position is fouled. It's a free kick. The Australian fans in that corner furious about that. The free kick is taken quickly. And as Evo said so often, it'll be interesting to see if England can move the ball more quickly in the second half. It's up to Grealish now, but he's halfway inside his own half. He's been forced all the way back by Ryan Strain, and he has to pass it back to goalkeeper Johnston.
Yeah, I think we need to let the listeners know that this isn't an Australia team that is just sitting deep and being compact and organised. They're pressing high from the front with 4 players as and when they can. If that press gets beat, they recover into positions really quickly to then snuff out the danger. So it's been really front-footed football from Australia and trying to win the ball back.
And this is an Australian team, this is an international team, one of those international teams that are really more than the sum of their parts. Alexander Arnold plays it through nicely to Gallagher. First time touch to Bowen, and the West Ham man takes it towards the byline, plays it into Maddison near the right touchline, pulls it across, and it's deflected behind. 2 central defenders together for Australia. It's an England corner.
That's the first time that Trent Alexander-Arnold's really got on the ball and split the lines, and he fires a ball into James Maddison, who pushes it wide to the right-hand side, and Bowen attacks his man. Maddison then gets on the end of it, and Souttar does well to divert it round for a corner.
Yes, James Maddison's club manager Ange Postecoglou, the former Australia coach, is here in the stands, probably in the level above us here in the Royal Box. And Maddison takes the corner into the near post. That's headed away for Australia. Comes out. Good clearance from, I think it was Strain who got his head to it, but Alexander-Arnold's got it back for England, shoots from distance, takes a deflection which took it wide of the goal. And it was actually off his teammate. I think it was off Maddison on the edge of the box, so it's a goal kick to Australia.
That just shows you where England are at. Trent Alexander-Arnold picking the ball up 30-35 yards out, trying to strike a ball, hits his own teammate and goes wide. It wasn't the greatest of strikes from Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think Matty Ryan had it comfortably covered, had good eyes on the ball.
Hit Grealish actually, didn't it, on the elbow, which took it wide. Here's Watkins on the left hand side. Watkins, 2 Australians with him. Back it goes to Grealish behind him. Hair swept back. Grealish drops his shoulder, and then a little ball to Watkins again on the edge of the area. Tried to thread it through from Maddison, but Souttar was in the way. The Scots-born Souttar. Excellent, well played by Boyle. Under pressure, worked it to Goodwin. Goodwin's pass forward. Duke chasing that, but England have been able to deal with it. And Tamori back to goalkeeper Johnston. But there's a great understanding, isn't there? This unheralded front 3. Boyle on the right hand side, the Hibernian man, Duke in the middle, but England coming forward at the other end. Here is Maddison, a little bit of space in the full back position. Still Maddison, uses Grealish behind him. It's the first time these two have started a match together for England, Grealish and Maddison. Then back to Henderson, the captain on the night. Alexander-Arnold, very much in a central position, but too small. Australia are back in position, and England are going sideways again from Henderson to Tamori. Now out to Bowen on the right hand side. Bowen loves it when he's got a chance to run at the opposition, and he's not really often had the chance to do that tonight.
Well, it's been too slow to get out there, John, but I have to say, Jack Grealish, I love watching Jack, and I've played with Jack at Aston Villa, and he's such a special talent, but tonight he's been too negative, just going back every single time he's on the ball.
Do you think a little bit that Maddison's got in his way as well? Because I think Maddison's struggling to find space at times, has drifted into Grealish's space.
And it's Australia coming forward. It's Strain, but the ball into the penalty area. That's an easy one for Johnston to catch. Paul Robinson, carry on that theme.
Yeah, with Maddison struggling to get space in midfield, like we discussed with the flooded midfield, he's getting in spaces, and him and Grealish have sometimes got in each other's way tonight.
Here's Watkins receiving it from Henderson. Watkins on the left hand side takes on Souttar towards the byline, pulls it across to the near post. Grealish was in there, but so too was Ryan Strain, who was able to stretch a leg at it as he went down on one knee and deflected it round the near post for a corner.
Yeah, he does really well, Strain, because it is the centre back. Harry Souttar's got in a 1v1 situation with Ollie Watkins. Great pressure from Souttar. It pushes Watkins to hit an early ball.
Corner's taken short by Maddison to Grealish, the two of them together again. Grealish across, shot from Bowen is blocked round about 12-13 yards out. It came out for a throw on the left hand side. Marginal improvement from England?
Yeah, a little bit. They've tried to move the ball quicker, trying to be a little bit more incisive with the passing, trying to cut out that midfield press. You just got to get that quality on the ball and make sure that when you do get it in those advanced areas, that you're on the half turn, that you can then turn and get at the back line of Australia, not playing them balls back into safe areas.
Looks like France are qualifying tonight. Kylian Mbappe scored a second goal, and it is Netherlands 0, France 2, and it looks as though the Republic of Ireland are going out because they're 2-0 down in Dublin at home to Greece. So Republic of Ireland 0, Greece 2. 0-0 here at Wembley. 5 Live on this Friday night. We'll be back here as well. 5 Live, the place to hear England, Italy on Tuesday night, the big qualifier. If England win that, England will be there in Germany next summer. Of course, there are still the matches next month as well. England will be here against Malta, and then the final match in Skopje against North Macedonia. 5 Live, the place to hear those matches as well. But the ball at the back with Australia. Suter back to Ryan. Maddison bearing down on him, so plays it across to Cameron Burgess of Ipswich Town, and then back to the former Brighton and Arsenal man, Ryan, the goalkeeper, who plays it to his left to Burgess, and then long downfield from Burgess, where Duke chests it back, and now Goodwin's onto it again. Goodwin, early cross, but into the gloves of Johnston, who was able to take a couple of steps outside his 6-yard box, catch it, and then the Crystal Palace goalkeeper, more clean sheets than anyone in the Premier League this season, overarms it out to Grealish, but Grealish goes back to Colwell.
What a fantastic outlet Mitch Duke is for Australia. Whenever they're under a little bit of pressure and you think, how can we relieve this pressure? He's so physical up front, he just bullies Tamori out the way, gets in front of him, chests it down, and then you've got midfield runners, the wingers cutting in off the sidelines, making sure that they can attack with him. It's such a brilliant outlet for Australia to have.
Mitch Duke, believe it or not, at 32, plays in the second division in Japan for Machida Zelvia. Here is Watkins on the left-hand side. Watkins in field towards Maddison, but Bacchus catches his heel, fouls Maddison. Bacchus, who has been booked, got to be careful. And I think Steve Holland down there under the blue baseball cap, he's in discussions with Gareth Southgate. I think possibly substitutions might not be far away. Rashford's trotting back towards the bench, yeah. Gareth Southgate having a word with him, and Foden, and John Stones as well. So they look as though they're getting ready, those three, Stephen. Free kick though to England.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to see what the position is of John Stones. Will he then step into that midfield role and allow Trent Alexander-Arnold to stay wider if he stays on the pitch?
And Phillips as well, so it might be a quadruple substitution. Free kick though, Maddison plays it in, that's headed down and away for Australia by Suter. Comes out to Alexander-Arnold, wraps his foot around it, it's over the top of Dunk, Grealish takes it down and scores! Watkins sliding in, might have got the final touch on the goal line. It was going in from Grealish. Watkins might claim this, but England have taken the lead and found the breakthrough. And Ollie Watkins has gone to Grealish. The two of them are smiling and laughing at one another. I think it'll have to be a replay to decide who got the final touch and whether it was over the line. But it is England 1, Australia 0. And Wembley can celebrate the opening goal.
And what we can see straight away is that Ollie Watkins isn't offside. He runs from behind Cameron Burgess, who switches off for a split second, and Ollie Watkins gets him behind. But Jack Grealish is absolutely furious. He thinks he's got a goal. It wouldn't have gone in. He thinks it's on target. It isn't on target. And Ollie Watkins had to put it into the goal. I'm sure Jack Grealish will smile after the game, having known that. But it's the one moment of quality that we've seen. The ball from Trent Alexander-Arnold to the back post. They get a 2v1 situation at the back post. Lovely touch and strike from Grealish, but the predatory instincts of Watkins gets a goal.
But at the other end, Duke, from a tight angle, left side of the penalty area, forces a very decent save from Sam Johnston, who had to deflect it round the post, Paul Robinson.
It was a good save by Sam Johnson. You'll say you're vulnerable just after you've scored, and that was a perfect example. Australia went very direct from kick-off within 2 touches. Strike on goal, near post. Johnson does well to cover the ball.
Corner then for Australia, who've got a goal down in this match, but that has not altered their approach. We saw that in the very first attack after Ollie Watkins gave England the lead. So here's the corner in towards the near post. Grealish was after it, and it's bounced down actually via the deflection. And England off and running with Colwell, who was challenged by Goodwin. Another bad decision, a free kick that is given England's way.
That's not a foul. That's not a foul. That is a brilliant recovery challenge from Goodwin, and that's the recovery tackles that we're talking about from Australia. The work rate, the tenacity to get back in. Really good recovery, and Colwell goes to ground, holds his ankle and buys the free kick.
What about a word on the England goal, Paul Robinson?
It's the first time they've tried not to score the perfect goal. It's the first time we've seen the ball swung into the box. Trent Alexander-Arnold doesn't look, puts his head down, whips the ball into the box, finds Grealish at the far post, who has a fantastic first touch, and like Stephen says, smashes it across the face of the goal. It wasn't going in. Watkins slides in at the far post, and sometimes we're so often guilty of trying to score the perfect goal at this level without actually putting the ball into areas that can hurt other teams.
Yeah, Watkins on the slide. He was probably less than a yard out when he got the touch, but it is Watkins' goal, and Ollie Watkins in form in the Premier League. Ollie Watkins scores his third goal for England, and actually his second in consecutive appearances, even though the previous goal was in the March of last year. So it is England 1, Australia 0, and here come the first of 4 England changes. And that's it for Jack Grealish. Has he done enough? It's Rashford who's coming on. Has he done enough to be in the starting lineup against Italy?
Not for me. Not on tonight's performance. Whether he's just trying to find his feet physically, mentally, since not playing many games in the last month or so for Manchester City, but he did look a little bit lethargic in the game.
Paul, on Jack Grealish?
I don't think anybody has tonight, John, thus far. I think it's been a poor, methodical performance, and there's nobody on that pitch that stood up. I mean, we've talked about Jack Grealish's struggles to nail down a regular starting 11, and he hasn't been able to produce again tonight.
Jordan Henderson coming off. Kieran Trippier coming on. Also Conor Gallagher as well. So the midfield 2 are coming off. So it looks as though we are going to see John Stones playing in a central position. Calvin Phillips is coming on as well. And actually Tomori's coming off, so John Stones will replace Tomori, you would think, in central defence. And we've not seen these two play together for England, Stones and Dunk.
No, we haven't, and now we see Trent Alexander-Arnold step into a midfield alongside Calvin Phillips. James Maddison just ahead of them. Marcus Rashford moving out onto that left-hand side in place of Jack Grealish. So it's a more conventional back 4 with Kieran Trippier now supporting Jarrod Bowen down that right-hand side.
Yeah, so I think this maybe gives us a clue, does it, for Tuesday night?
No.
Alexander, no? Just thinking Alexander-Arnold potentially in midfield against Italy?
No, I think it could be, because what you do need is you need someone who can pick a lock, someone who can find that killer pass, and we know that he's definitely got that. He's got them capabilities. I think it's just how you set the team up in that position. I think he just sprays a lovely ball out to the left-hand side.
And here is Rashford, obviously struggling on the domestic front with Manchester United after his excellent season last season, but he just cannot get it going, can he, this season? And it'll be interesting to see what he's able to do in the remainder of this match, almost half an hour.
Yeah, the body language doesn't look great, does it? It looks like he's having a tough time confidence-wise, and we know that confidence is one of those most incredibly difficult things in football to find, to sort of turn that tap on and off, and you ask questions of how you do it, and from being almost unplayable at times last season, at the moment he just doesn't seem to be able to do anything right.
So Trippier, Phillips, Stones and Rashford, the 4 players who've come on, and Tomori, Henderson, Gallagher and Grealish. So who took the captain's arm?
Trippier
did. There we are. Well spotted.
Glasses, John.
Yes, those glasses again. England 1, Australia 0. Ollie Watkins scoring 7 goals for Aston Villa this season. Last time he played, scored a hat-trick, of course, against Brighton. As Australia come forward again, but they run into Calvin Phillips. Calvin Phillips then, simple pass, or a short pass forward towards Maddison, who will turn and give it back. And here's John Stones, just 2 appearances so far for Manchester City this season with the injury that he's had. And Stones again, one of the absolute staples for England under Gareth Southgate. Dunk to his left, and now Colwell again. So no Nketiah yet. So only 2 more substitutions can be made by Gareth Southgate. So we'll have to see if Eddie Nketiah is going to get his chance this evening. Phillips now for England, deep lying position, goes for one of those crossfield passes that were very much his trademark at Leeds United, and it's landed at the feet of Rashford, and Rashford goes around strain, but then a heavy touch means that the cover is there for Australia from Boyle to put it behind for an England corner.
That's just that doubt in his mind, isn't it, where he's beat his man and you're thinking, well, fizz the ball across now, and he just takes that extra touch because he doubts himself, and that's just the sort of the place where Marcus Rashford is with his game at the moment.
So corner for England from the left. England leading through the goal just short of the hour from Ollie Watkins. And this corner to be taken by Maddison to the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away for Australia, and then a shot on the edge of the box from Watkins, bounced down actually, and Australia were able to clear on the edge of the 6-yard area. Back again for Alexander-Arnold into the box, left foot shot. Again, there's a defender in the way which deflects it well wide of the goal for another England corner, this time from the opposite side. Paul Robinson.
Gives you that just trend further up the field. I like him playing that with less defensive responsibility. Gives him the freedom to cut inside, whether it's on his right foot or left foot. A little bit more freedom to take players on and to get in those areas where he can hurt people. He's not afraid to take people on. He's not afraid to get into the box without those defensive responsibilities. He's a more creative player.
So corner from the right. Maddison will actually take this short, and Rashford is onto this, into the penalty area, ball at his feet, takes it on, looks to the byline, then drives it across. It's blocked at the near post by Rolls, and then cleared out of play for an England throw over there on the far side. But Rashford just chips the ball up into his hands as it bounces back off the advertising hoardings. The weather forecaster in the lift was right, wasn't he?
Spot on.
Yeah,
Absolutely nailed on.
What does he know? He's been stood in the lift all day.
Well, wherever he is, he's got the weather forecast right. No rain after 9 o'clock, he said. As Australia give it away, Trippier steps forward. Kieran Trippier nearing 50 caps. It's his 44th tonight, the Newcastle man. Back to John Stones. Our expectation is that Trippier will be at left back against Italy on Tuesday night, as he was in the European Championship final here against the Italians, with Kyle Walker coming back into the team, assuming all is well. Gareth Southgate said everyone was fit last night. Walker named among the substitutes, and here is Dunk at the back, gives it to Stones. So obviously the feeling is that they did feel that John Stones needed some time to play, get out on the field before the match against Italy on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think it's sensible. I think that you need to give him that opportunity to get minutes into his legs, to get himself feeling better as England give the ball away again.
That's uncharacteristically from Dunk, giving it away, and Australia coming forward through the middle. Backus could have a goal from 25 yards here, but drags it well wide, and he had options there. He had 5 options ahead or to the right or to the left, but went for goal. It did open up, but he hit it badly.
Yeah, it really did open up for him, but I think if the game's still at 0-0, I think he just takes the easy pass and plays it out wide to the overlapping Boyle, gives him the opportunity then to put a cross into the box, because Australia had numbers forward and they were outnumbering England at the back.
So England 1, Australia 0. Jack Grealish with the sort of cross shot. As Paul Robinson said, actually it probably was going wide of the far post, and Watkins did have to slide in and force it over the line. So the Aston Villa man scoring the goal. We'll likely be talking to him afterwards were it to stay like this, and Australia are going to make their first changes very shortly, with a quarter of the match to go. 3 changes coming up, bringing on Lewis Miller is going to come on to make his debut, the number 17 down there, and also Brandon Borrello coming on, who scored against Ecuador last time Australia played in their homeland.
What have they been feeding them, John? Look at the size of Miller. Huge, isn't he?
Yeah, and only 23 years old, Hibernian man, that will not have the changes yet. Australia play the ball back to Ryan inside the penalty area. Just passes it out to the left-hand side to Burgess. Ryan again, right-footed ball towards the halfway line. But Strain comes for and controls against Rashford, but then rather disappointingly slips as he hits it forward and it just drifts out of play. So England looking a good deal more settled, as you would think they would do, having taken the lead. But there has been an improvement in the second half, but it's still not sparkling, is it?
No, not at all. I think you think of the tempo that England have tried to play at in the second half. Fortunate there.
Yeah, Alexander-Arnold went through a couple of challenges but then couldn't find the pass. He was a little short to Trippier on the far side, so Australia have got it back. And also England are going to bring on Eddie Nketiah. Phil Foden coming on as well, so those are changes 5 and 6. And Eddie Nketiah is about to win his first cap for England. How will he be feeling down there on the side of the pitch?
I just think he'll be absolutely delighted. He'll know his family are here as well, which I'm sure they will be, and he'll be wanting to share that occasion with them after the game. But for anyone who plays for England, when you pull the shirt on, it's a boyhood dream. Everyone dreams about playing for the country, and especially at Wembley as well.
But Australia are coming forward with Boyle on the right hand side. Boyle chips it into the near post, but an easy take for Sam Johnson, who caught the ball above his head. Yeah, we had a chance to speak to him last month, Eddie Nketiah, when he was called into the squad, the senior squad, for the first time. And you mentioned his parents. He actually said that his parents lost control when he told them that he'd been picked in the squad. Just a couple of goals for Arsenal this season. I presume they burst into tears. I presume that's what he meant. In actual fact, as we know, having been at Arsenal's last match, he's on a little bit of a spell without a goal at the moment. Not scored in his last 7 appearances for Arsenal. However, he'll take it any time, won't he?
Oh, if he gets one today, he'll be absolutely delighted, and his confidence will go sky high.
Here is Rashford for England. Right for the ball, but that's read by Suter. Clears it, but only to Maddison. Calvin Phillips now. Little or no football for Manchester City this season. Just the one start and an unused substitute in that game at Arsenal, which was a big talking point. Ball played behind Phillips by Dunk. Phillips wants to get on the ball, which he does. Gives it to Trippier on the right hand side. Bowen, Jared Bowen on the right. Low ball into the near post. It just evaded Maddison and was cleared away for Australia on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Lovely work from Bowen down that right hand side and moving the ball quickly. Calvin Phillips making sure that there's pace on the pass to be able to take a nice touch out of your feet from Jared Bowen. It allows you then to get at your defender. Fizzed a lovely ball across and Maddison couldn't quite get on the end of it.
What's catching your eye at the moment, Paul Robinson?
The impact the substitutes have made. There has been a slight improvement from England in the second half, but listen, it has been pretty poor. It's been methodical at times. It's not been a great watch, let's be honest. And you're looking now, he's got Nketiah and Foden coming on there. If you're on the pitch, you're looking over to the sideline thinking, if I'm coming off, I've got half a chance of playing on Tuesday.
And first of all, I think it's going to be the Australian changes. In fact, no, it's the England changes first. And so that's it for James Maddison. Only his 5th cap tonight. One of the players of the season in the Premier League. So Phil Foden coming on to play. Well, we'll see whether he's going to play in the number 10 role. But Ollie Watkins, having scored the only goal so far tonight. So at 24 years old, this Londoner, Eddie Nketiah, former Chelsea youngster, but then became very much an Arsenal man, trots onto the field. He says Ian Wright and Thierry Henry were the inspirations for him, and now he's on the field for England with number 25 on his back. Australia making changes as well. Goodwin is coming off. So is Harry Suter. Am I right in saying is that Suter coming off? But anyway, the 3 who are coming on
No, I think Souta's still on.
Souttar is still on. Jordan Boss is coming on, who's playing his football in Belgium at the moment, so this is only his third cap. Big Lewis Miller coming on, the Hibernian man, that's his debut, who is the right back. We'll just get those numbers for the Australians who came off in a moment or two. But England leading by 1-0, and Colwell in the left back position for England plays it forward, and it's deflected out of play near the halfway line. So Colwell waiting to make these changes. But Goodwin, having come off, I mean, he's really caught the eye, hasn't he? Veteran now, really, at the age of 31, but he was one of the main men for Australia.
Yeah, I thought he was outstanding, and I spoke before about Jared Bowen being the ideal winger to play in front of you if you're a fullback. I think he was exactly what was needed in front of Carl Rolls. Defensively worked hard for his team, but also a threat going the other way, and caused England constant problems going forward.
Yeah, and Duke and Strain also coming off. I mean, Ryan Strain, the English-born Ryan Strain, who had that big chance late in the first half that could have been a very different story here tonight if he'd been able to drive the ball into the net and had Dunk not deflected it up and over the top of the crossbar.
He will not sleep tonight thinking about that moment and what it could have been, and what a moment it could have been for Australia playing at Wembley, scoring a goal at Wembley. It would have made a real impact in the game. He'll be bitterly disappointed.
So 1-0 England lead, and we still have just over 15 minutes of the 90 to play. England clear it, but Souttar driving forward, gets a foot to this. Jackson Irvine plays it towards the edge of the penalty area. Curling shot, took a deflection. It was hit by Conor Metcalfe. England have been able to scramble it away, but that's all they're doing. And then Trippier puts in the challenge. The Australian supporters over there are claiming that Trippier committed a foul there as he won the ball back, but then it's deflected out of play for a throw into Australia, to England nearer the halfway line. Paul Robinson.
Yeah, it's taking time to settle again, John, isn't it, the game? I mean, we've had the amount of substitutions that we've had by both sides, and England did look a little disjointed. The communication wasn't quite there. We know it's not a tried and tested starting 11 that he's tried, and now he's made all the changes, so even less so. You know, we spoke about all the eyes are on Tuesday night, and if they play like this on Tuesday, with this lack of intensity, they'll struggle against the good Italian side. It's not been a great watch. It's been a friendly. He's tried players in positions. I'm watching the game now. There's nobody that's really put the hand up and said, pick me, I need to play. Players that have played excellently well this season for the club: Jared Bowen, James Maddison, Ollie Watkins. Yes, he got his goal, but there's nobody out there tonight that will be banging Gareth Southgate's door and demanding to play on Tuesday because of their performance.
The only one who had to really say stood out is Sam Johnson. Made a couple of great saves and done everything that's asked of him.
Here is Foden for England, driving forward from centre field, then getting it to the right hand side. Trippier involved in that. Alexander Arnold's ball low across the area. Souttar backpedaling, is able to adjust and clear it away, but then Foden again into the thick of the action, and in amongst all of the green and gold, keeps possession. It finds its way to Rashford on the left hand side. Now Foden again makes himself available. He looks as though he's on a one-man mission, Phil Foden, to lift this performance for England.
Well, he's on a mission to try and get himself a starting place in the game on Tuesday. He's desperate to prove people wrong that he is capable of performing in an England shirt, because he hasn't quite hit the heights that we'd expect him to in an England shirt.
And of course what this performance does tonight, with Jude Bellingham sitting and watching on the substitutes bench, is underline what England have with Bellingham. Foden though to Rashford. Rashford's ball across. Souttar was able to block it on almost a corner of the 6-yard area, and Australia clear towards the halfway line.
They've done that well a few times, Australia. They realise that Rashford's got that pace to burn down the side, but Souttar doesn't come across too far, just holds his position at that front post and makes sure that anything pulled back or across that 6-yard box, he's in a position to cut it out.
So England bring it forward with John Stones, who's advanced well into Australian territory, then back towards the halfway line. England still leading through the second half goal, the sliding close range finish from Ollie Watkins. So Harry Kane will not see him tonight. Bellingham likewise. And here's Colwell, who passes it forward towards Foden, who turns it back in field to Colwell, who's dispossessed by Jackson Irvine, but then The recovering Trent Alexander-Arnold gets a touch on that off Jackson Irvine and out of play for a throw-in to England. The other thing we should mention tonight, incidentally, as well, that the two fine England internationals were remembered this evening before the start of the match, Trevor Francis and Francis Lee, and there was a lovely round of applause of appreciation for those two. And added to that, in the match programme tonight, lovely to see Maddie Cusack of Sheffield United and also Ben Cole, the young Southampton Academy player, also remembered in tonight's match programme. England leading by 1-0. Colwell plays it off Metcalf and out of play for a throw-in to England, half inside their own half. Another throw-in, Colwell, then up towards Nketiah with a heavy touch, and Siva's all over him, plays it forward, and then Boyle does well again. The hard-working Boyle takes it out towards the far side. 6 goals for Hibs so far this season, and then it finds its way to Rolls, low ball in, Boyle into the penalty area, a change of feet, but too many England defenders in there, and actually in the end Trippier, with Borrello not far away, had to stab it behind for a corner to Australia.
Jordan Boss on the left-hand side, who's dancing through the England defenders, and Trippier, he just doesn't realise that Borrello's behind him, decides to put it out, and it's a correct decision, but we've seen how dangerous Australia are from set pieces.
So a corner from the left-hand side for Australia. Boyle takes it in, it's a deep one, and it's headed off the post. A flying header by Metcalf, who got his head to it, and it struck the outside of Sam Johnston's left post and was behind, and it's a goal kick, and England still up lead 1-0, and another Australian chance comes and goes.
By the thickness of a layer of paint, completely unmarked at the back post there. Really simple corner routine, floated into the far post, finds himself completely unmarked. The marker from England's dreadful. Misses everybody out. Free header at the far post. Should score, should do better. Hits the post from 6 yards out.
England have really been fortunate tonight. They're winning the game. They could easily be behind. Colwell, but Australia battling away. You know, this is typical of Australia. This is the Australia we saw at the World Cup.
It certainly is.
At the end of last year.
Yeah, but I mean, Robbo spoke about it before. They play to the strengths, don't they? They understand what their strengths are, and they don't stray away from that. They don't try and be something that they're not. I think they're very impressive.
They've played very, very well tonight. Listen, they're no great footballing nation, and no disrespect to them whatsoever for the performance tonight. But from an England point of view, if you're playing against better teams, and you look at the amount of chances that Australia have created against them tonight, you look at the game plan that they've had against them tonight. Okay, it's not been England's starting 11. There's been a lot of changes. Yes, there's excuses, but we're still playing in our own stadium against a team that we should be beating comfortably, where we're 1-0 up and potentially we could be losing. The performance for England tonight hasn't been good enough.
And I suspect it means that Gareth Southgate will not be changing his plans that he had in place for the team lineup on Tuesday night, when I think we kind of know we've got a very good idea of that team. It's a free kick to Australia forward of the centre circle.
Well, sometimes in football you become a better player by not playing. And you look at those players sat on the bench tonight, the likes of Walker, Bellingham, Rice, Kane, who will definitely start on Tuesday. All of a sudden you look at what's on the pitch tonight, you think, can't wait to get them back in the team.
So less than 10 minutes to go. England 1-0 up, but they've just had another let-off. And Australia has got this free kick forward of the centre circle, which is flighted forward into the box, and glance headed on by Rolls, but all the way through for an England goal kick. And we will have the next 2 Australian changes now. So coming off is Martin Boyle. So all 3 of the front players have been substituted now by Graham Arnold, and our Mabil is coming on, who plays his football in Switzerland with Grasshoppers, and Kai Rolls, the left back, who had a series of chances in the first half, is replaced by Aziz Behic, who is one of the few Australian base players in this squad, and he, winning his 60th cap tonight, has gone across there into the left back position.
Well, Jared Bowen will be delighted that he's left the pitch, Rolls.
As Rashford comes forward for England, and now Nketiah works it across, but back in there, the substitute only just on the field. Our Mabil was able to dive in and put it behind for a corner to England. But Rashford and Nketiah together, and Phil Foden has come across to take this corner with James Maddison off the field now. Rashford is there with him, so there is an option of a short corner. Foden waiting to take this, so Phil Foden just rubs the right wrist of his shirt on his nose, and then Foden, a deep delivery towards the back post, a header away for Australia, then it's headed down and further away. England win it back. Trippier might have committed a foul there, holding his arms up as a wave is making its way around the ground, and Australia with Metcalf gives it away. Metcalf, who was the man who had the header against the post a few minutes ago. England again with it on the right hand side. Bowen down into the full back position, the two men on him, and it's deflected out over the far side for a throw-in to England near the corner flag. I think one or two, in fact more than one or two, probably hundreds and hundreds of people have begun to head towards the exits, but the crowd, the official crowd tonight, 81,116. I must say, I think that's a feat to get a crowd like that in for a friendly international against Australia on a Friday night.
John, they've heard it starts raining at 9:45.
Well, I've not heard that.
They're packing that lift.
I'll be having words if it does. Here's Colwell. But Rashford, it's still inside his own half. Rashford takes it on down the left-hand side. The recovering challenge by Lewis Miller puts it out of play via a deflection off Rashford. And it's actually given us a free kick in the end by Rashford on Miller. So time beginning to run out here. We've got 5 minutes of the 90 to go. And Australia deserve a goal, frankly.
They do. I really think they do on the game plan, the way they've set up, the opportunities that they've had. That's the one thing we spoke about before the game, is that they're just not clinical in the final third.
Dorello to Mabil. Mabil runs his foot over the ball, then couldn't find a teammate, but it bounced back to Mabil. And Mabil beats Colwell. I think couldn't. Jackson Irvine in the 6-yard box, trying to slide in, slid past Dunk, but the deflection took it onto Dunk and wide, and it's a corner to Australia. Again, Australia causing England problems.
England having to be careful, lapses of concentration, causing themselves their own problem. I mean, 1-0 up at this stage of the game, you've got to be switched on, you've got to all be together, and you can't allow mistakes that allow chances on your goal. Far too many opportunities that this Australian side had. Yes, they've been good, yes, they've created chances, but England at times, just like that, have been the masters of their own downfall.
Mabil is going to take this. Inspirational little figure he is. The young Australian of the year. He was named in January. A former refugee from South Sudan. Mabil takes the corner to the back post. It's headed down, blocked on the edge of the 6-yard box. There are a lot of bodies in there, and the body that gets to the ball first is Phil Foden, who's able to take it away and chip it away for England. And then further away from Calvin Phillips, and then well done on the halfway line for Australia as it's collected by Behich, the left back, one of the recent substitutes, who's able to take it away and keep possession for Australia. Gareth Southgate in his hooded anorak, looking a little concerned, which he might well be, as the green and gold sweep forward again. Mabil into the penalty area. His cross is blocked away behind for another corner to the Australians.
Well, they got a header on the previous corner, far too easy again from an England point of view. Very easy for Australia. They're just blocking at the back post. They realise that they've got Cameron Burgess and Sutar at the back post. They just keep on standing the ball up to that position and allowing them to get free headers at goal.
So Mabil will take this again, this right-sided corner. England 1-0 up, but a precarious lead in the dying minutes of this friendly. Played in towards Suter, who tried to sweep it goalwards, but Stones went with him, and at close quarters was able to block the attempted flick goalwards. But again, Australia have it on the right-hand side, and the cross towards the edge of the 6-yard box is just Phillips who got there first for England. But Australia putting England under real pressure here in the final minutes of this match at Wembley Stadium. Back to the halfway line it goes, though, and Bacchus to Suter, and England now just forcing Australia out, and in the end Bacchus actually has to give it back to Ryan. 2 minutes to go. 5 Live. Football Daily will have all of the reaction download for free in the morning. All of tomorrow's sport covered for you. All of the remaining football that there is as Dunk turns and plays it back towards the edge of the 6-yard box. But lots and lots of big rugby commentaries tomorrow. All 4 of the Rugby Union World Cup quarterfinals. 5 Live the place to hear them. And as we heard from Dave Woods at half-time, the Super League Grand Final as well, in between tomorrow's 2 Rugby Union quarterfinals. So that is all for you tomorrow, as well as India-Pakistan at the Cricket World Cup on Sports Extra. Australia can make one more change, and Graham Arnold is going to do that as well. For the final seconds of this match, Alexander Arnold sends it long and forward. Ketia absolutely herring after it, and actually he might win it. He might have been fouled there as well, but free kick is not given, and in the end it's out for a throw into Australia.
Just out-muscled in that bottom corner by Burgess, just too strong for Nketiah. Initially does well Nketiah to win the ball, but then just the pure strength of Burgess wins the ball back.
So the final change sees Mohamed Toure coming on to replace Connor Metcalf, who looks crestfallen. Connor Metcalf, the German-blazed midfielder who had that chance with the header from 6 yards out that he could only direct against the outside of the post.
Yeah, big opportunity. There'll be a couple of the Australian players thinking that at the end of this game, if it stays the same scoreline.
So Mohamed Toure onto the field and into the action, and then across from the right-hand side from Nabil, but that is beyond the far post, and it did go out of play for a goal kick. 3 minutes. Well, that's a blast from the past.
When did you last say that?
How many substitutions have they had in the second half? There's 3 minutes of added time.
I'm not, to be fair, John, are we complaining? I'm not so sure we could do much more than 3 minutes.
Yeah, we've got places to go, haven't we?
Well, I think most people inside the stadium have.
I think many of them
more red seats than people, isn't there?
Many of them have already gone to those places. Yeah, there are certainly not 81,000 people inside Wembley now. So goal kick. Ollie Watkins, the scorer of the only goal here tonight. This won't live particularly long in the memory, this first meeting at Wembley Stadium of England and Australia. Some great sporting contests between these two countries, not least this year in the Ashes, but this has been forgettable. Australia, they'll really rue the chances they had to get something out of this game, maybe even win it here. The only win that they've had was that in that much talked about match at Upton Park 20 years ago against England. Here is Colwell on the halfway line through to Foden, and if England got a second goal and win it by 2 goals to 0, I mean that would be very flattering. As Dunk plays the ball back towards Johnston in the D on the edge of the area. Yeah, Gareth Southgate has dropped a number of hints this week that Johnston might play in this match, and this will be 4 caps for England, and he won't have conceded a goal, and you can't do any better than that as a goalkeeper, Paul Robinson.
No, he's done extremely well. Watched him a couple of times for Palace this season. I, like many others, raised an eyebrow when Dean Henderson was signed. Very similar situation to Arsenal. You know, if you've got a goalkeeper that you rate and you want to play weekly, why sign somebody who will potentially take his place? It almost seems at club level he's a mistake away from losing his place, but he's got his chance now. He's been excellent so far this season for Crystal Palace, and as you rightfully say, not conceded a goal for England and done very well again tonight. He's looked assured, he's commanded his box, his communication's been excellent, and his distribution's been excellent.
So I think with that we're probably saying that he'd be the selection as the man of the match for England.
I'd say so, because I don't see anyone else on the pitch who's really stood out. I think the only other player where you say something, they've tried to make things happen, is Trent Alexander-Arnold, but still not enough from him.
As Australia come to Miller on the right-hand side in added time. In fact, in the last minute of added time, chance for a late equaliser, but it's headed well wide. 2 Australians went for it. Mohamed Toure has just come on, and also Jackson Irvine, who's got a bit of the look of the pirate going about him, hasn't he, with the long hair tied back and the the little moustache, but between the two of them, another chance goes begging, and it's a goal kick to England.
Yeah, he wants a corner as well, Jackson Irvine. I think he's correct in asking for one. It comes off the head of John Stones. He does enough, John Stones, just to climb with Irvine and direct the ball wide of the post for a corner. But it give a goal kick to England.
And there we have it. The final whistle goes at Wembley Stadium. And those two old friends, colleagues, Gareth Southgate and Graham Arnold, turn to one another. They know each other very well. There's a great deal of respect there, and there's a lengthy embrace between the two of them. And I suspect Gareth Southgate is saying to Graham Arnold, England are very fortunate to have won that game tonight with that second half goal from Ollie Watkins. But Australia, so many chances not taken, and England, with one of the few that they did create, won the match. Grealish's cross shot and Ollie Watkins from close range. Stephen Warnock and Paul Robinson.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be many England fans walking away from here tonight saying we've seen a classic and we've seen the next sort of stars of England. I think they'll say it was a very lethargic performance from England, lacking in ideas, and hopefully there'll be more to come on Tuesday night from a different lineup.
Listen, it was poor, wasn't it? Let's be frank, it was a really poor watch. There was no tempo to the game, there was no cutting edge, there was nothing in the final third. Australia didn't have the possession, but they had more chances, they had the better chances. And these players that we talk about, the exciting players, the Maddisons, the Bowens, the Ollie Watkins, yes, Ollie Watkins got his goal, but nobody really shone tonight. It was disjointed, there was no cohesion, and it looked like a team of players that were just put together to play tonight and given an opportunity that don't usually play, and that's exactly what it was.
And it really adds to the current feeling, I think, with England, that Jude Bellingham is essential. Despite all of the other talents that England have, it's that young man who is making England tick. He wasn't involved, and it was disjointed. And this first meeting between England and Australia here at Wembley Stadium will not live long in the memory. But Ollie Watkins will remember it for his winning goal. England 1, Australia 0.